Hi everyone, Carrie Scroggins from KDS Insurance Services near the Houston area. How are you on this beautifully sunny May Monday? After the last few days here in Houston, to see the beautiful sunshine is a beautiful blessing, but it's also probably a curse today because there's still people without power. That's crazy to even say that, considering Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're now to the fifth day. I can't even imagine what those poor people are going through with the heat and the humidity. It's just unbearable. I actually had almost 3 days without it, and luckily the last few hours were the worst part of it. We didn't have very high temperatures the entire time. This is a serious problem that we have here in Houston, and it's only going to be worse if we have a bad hurricane season, because the water tables are already showing saturation levels, meaning the ground is just completely saturated. If we have category 3 or 4 storms this season, I even hate to think about it, because it will be absolutely devastating to the city of Houston and the surrounding areas. We will probably have historic flooding if that happens, because we are so saturated already from probably the most rain I have experienced in my entire time living here in the Houston area. I grew up here, and I would say 80% of my life has been here in the Houston area, and we're all saying the same things. We can never remember such rain and such drastically violent storms. We have violent storms during the hurricanes, but not, the normal spring storms are generally not this violent. We'd have some wind and some hail, but what went on Thursday is just nothing that I have seen before. And of course, as an insurance agent, as my primary career, I shudder to think at the amount of money that's going to be laid out, which then translates to, you know what, higher rates. Again, like we need higher rates. We've been struggling with higher rates since the massive snowstorm of 21. 3 years. 3 solid years of rate increases, and unfortunately this is not going to help us. We here in the state of Texas have had so many insurance companies leave the state, and some of them are sort of teetering as to whether they're going to leave. I'm afraid this is going to push them over the edge, and they're going to leave the state, which is going to mean that you and I as consumers are going to have even less to choose from when it comes to our rates. And I just unfortunately have been telling you guys that I think at some point we're going to have the state step in. The state's already involved because they have a wind and hail platform. So for people who live in Chambers County, Brazoria County, Galveston County, for those counties close to the water, most of the carriers don't offer wind and hail, so you have to buy it from the state. But what I do see happening is that expanding, and the state offering homeowners insurance as well, other coverages, because the carriers that are going to be available to write it or offer it to you are getting less and less and less. When a company like Germania says we no longer want new business, that is a huge warning flag, and I've been saying this since last July when they made the announcement that they were no longer accepting new business. So what do we as consumers need to do? Well, first thing, we got to make sure that we're taking care of our property, eliminating hazards, and the biggest hazard that we face are trees from the wind and hail. So if you have trees near your home, the golden rule has always been 10 feet. I personally feel now that has changed, and we should be moving that even further away from your house. further away and further above your house. So if you have a pine tree, which you know here in the Houston area, we have so many pine trees. I think pine trees need to be 20 feet away from your house now. And I think that the big oak trees need to be 20 feet over your house or higher. If they're really old oak trees, like so many are here in the Houston area, I think they need to all be pruned back and just give us all an opportunity to breathe, so we don't have these massively devastating transactions from a tree falling on a house or a car or whatever. Because it's just not the tree falling and causing damage. It's what you have to do to the tree after. You got to get the tree cut up, and that can be thousands of dollars in expenses. Take care of your property. Make sure nothing is around your house that can be picked up and thrown by the wind into your house or into somebody else's house, or God forbid, into somebody themselves. Maintain your property. Clear everything away from your house. Clear your trees as far away from your house as you can, and be prepared. Be prepared. The one thing that I will tell you personally, I learned from the last 3 to 4 days in experiencing this time, is we were not really prepared. We thought we were prepared and we had the majority of what we need, but we didn't have it all. And I don't want to ever be in that situation before. So here's some things for you to think about as part of this message in your preparedness. And this just is not in the Houston area, because there's crazy weather patterns happening all over the world, right? Not to mention the human element that could potentially at some point cause a catastrophe where we lose our infrastructure, our power, our water, all of those things. So the most important thing that we have to have is water. And you need to have gallons of it. Not 2 or 3 gallons of it. 2 to 3 to 3 to 4 to 5, 10 gallons each of water. I'm serious about that. Water, water, water. You cannot survive without water. If the infrastructure goes down and our water system goes down, that will be massive casualties. So gallons and gallons and gallons of water. Then you need to have items for you just to stay in your home. You need to have lanterns. You need to have a generator. Absolutely a generator. Maybe not one to actually generate your whole house, which is what is on my to-buy list. I want a generator that will run my house. And you can find them. And they're not cheap, but they're not as expensive as I had thought they were going to be. So a generator. If you can't afford a generator to run your home, then a generator that can run fans and charge your phones. You've got to be able to communicate so you know what the situation is, so you know what to expect, what's coming, so you can communicate with your electrical system, your water system, your children, your family. So you need to have a generator so you can stay connected. Then you need to have propane so you can cook, so you can continue to live. And then, and I know I don't have to tell the people of Texas this, but there's a lot of people that don't think this is necessary, but 90% of Texans do. Make sure you're defending yourself. Make sure you have the materials to defend yourself, because unfortunately in these situations, the criminal element does surface, and you want to be able to protect your family and your property. So all I'm going to say is be prepared. Water, generators, canned food, propane, ways to defend yourself, and always make sure that you have some sort of family emergency plan in place. Yourself, then with your children and your extended family. I think these are very, very important things that need to be talked about, that families need to work on, and to be prepared. I also think we all need to just be ready, because I was really hoping our rates were going to level off as we go into our election cycle, but not after this, not after this major catastrophe that we've had here in Houston. And we are just now getting ready for hurricane season. So please, everybody, pray that it is a quiet hurricane season, and that we don't have any more torrential rains, and that we all make it through. And for those people who are still without power, please pray for them. Anyone that was injured or had damages, please offer a blessing for them. And I really do want to express gratitude for all the men and women that work so hard. First responders, I have 2 first responders in my family, I know. Well, all 3 of my children work with the community, and all 3 of them would be called in the event of an emergency. So please offer a prayer to all those people, express our gratitude for their service, and for the unbelievable dedication and long, horrible hours that so many of the electrical workers spent in the last 5 days getting the infrastructure back to where it is, and their continued progress and safety. Because, you know, they may even have families that don't have power either. Let's not forget that. So I wish I had better news today, but I thought it was important to just jump in, get this informational message out there, so we can all really start to be thinking about what's next. Are you prepared? And to brace ourselves for your upcoming renewals, because unfortunately here in the state of Texas, I think we're going to even lose more carriers, especially here in the Houston area and surrounding, anywhere along the Gulf Coast. We're going to lose more carriers because they were teetering as to whether or not they're going to stay in Texas. I do believe this will send them over the edge, and they will pull their appointments here in Texas, which means for all of us, less to choose from, which means our rates are going to continue to just be through the roof. As always, I am here to answer any questions, offer some advice. Please get with your agent, review your policies, be prepared, make sure that you've taken the necessary steps to eliminate any tree exposure that you have around your home. That is so important. They are so deadly in these type of things. And just put your lists together and be prepared. So in the event that this happens again, we are all ready and can sustain ourselves until the remarkable men and women can get our infrastructure back working and functioning correctly. I'm here to answer any questions. Of course, you can always call me at my office, which is 832-391-8271. It's important to work with your insurance agent, really. They can advise you. They can give you some, more in-depth advice based upon your situation and where you are located, because they're going to be handling your policies. It is so important to have a good relationship with your agent. But remember, we're consumers too. So I can testify. I was without power for 2.5 days. Saturday arrived and we finally got it back. But that was almost 3 days where I had no communication except through voicemail from my clients. And it's taking all of us probably 2 to 3 days to catch up. So please be patient. I'm sure your agent will get with you. I'm working through my list, and if you're one of my clients and you've left me a message, please know that I am getting through those messages, and I will get to you just as quickly as possible. God bless. Stay safe as always, and please pray for those who still are without power here in Houston. Many blessings to all of you. Have a wonderful week, a wonderful Memorial Day, and I will catch up with you in my next video. God bless, stay safe, and God bless the United States of America.